Welcome to the lesson on Surah Al-Fil, the chapter of the elephant, Surah 105. In this lesson, we are going to do sentence sparsing, which is called i'rab in Arabic, which basically means we are going to flesh out the grammatical functions of the words in the surah. We will begin with verse number 1 of 5 verses, which is Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Okay, there are 7 word strings, as you can see here. The first word string is alam, which is actually 2 words. Okay, so first what we do is we identify the category of words. Alright, now as you can see there, usually when it's green it's verb, and when it's blue it's nouns, and when it's other colors it's usually the particles. So you have an R here, which is a particle, so we write a P. Lam is also a particle, and tara would be a verb. Anta, in tara would be a pronoun. Kaifa would be an interrogative noun. Okay, fa'ala would be the verb. Rabbu, noun, and then ka would be the pronoun, pn. B is particle of preposition. Ashabi would be a noun because it comes after a preposition. Al-fil would be a noun because of the alif lam. Okay, then we do the next process, which is VPAPN, which basically means you find the verbal structure first, and then the possessive structure, and the adjective structure, prepositional structure, and the nominal structure. Okay, so let's go to verbs first. Alright, so you have a verb here. So fa'ala rabbuka, right? So this is a verb, and this is the subject of verb. See that? So a verb, okay, so this verb, and then subject of verb, which means the verb pushes the subject of verb. So you have another one here, you see. Okay, tara, you see, so this is a verb, and then the implied anta, which means you, would be the subject of verb here, so this is pushed. So you have 2 verbal structures here. Alright, next, okay, let's just write first down here. So VPAPN, right? So verbal is done. Next we go to P. Second P is possessive structure. You find the possessive structure, and you have about 2 possessive structure, which is possessive structure is when you see a noun plus a noun. Okay, so you have a verb here, right? And then you have a noun plus a pronoun. So whenever you see a noun plus a pronoun, it means the first noun is dragging the second noun, and the second noun is called a possessive noun. Okay, that's the first possessive structure. And when you see a noun plus a noun here, ashab al-fil, and you see the second noun having a kasra, and the first noun is non-definite, so first noun drags the second noun. Okay, and you have this one becomes possessive. Okay, this one becomes possessive. So done with the possessive 2 possessive structures. So next you find the adjective structures. There are no adjective structures here, so you go on and do the, what is this, prepositional structure. So you see a preposition here, so this is a preposition, particular preposition, therefore what comes after it will be the object of preposition. A preposition drags the object of preposition. All right, let's now, before we go to the last one, which is the nominal structure, let's go to the verb. Okay, so this verb that we have sparsed just now. Okay, so it comes after a lam. What we know is lam kills, right? Lam kills the verb after it. Lam kills the verb after it. So lam is a killer. So lam is called harfun nafin wa jazmin. So this is a negative lam. Harfun nafin wa jazmin wa qalbin. It means it negates, it kills, and then it's qalb. It turns the present tense that comes after it into the meaning of a past tense. Okay. Now this tara, if it kills, this tara should be tar, right, instead of tara. So but there is a morphological explanation for it. If you check the roots, it's ra'aya, and then you have tar-ayu. So tar-ayu actually. So this is the original structure of the present tense of tara. So eventually it becomes when you do something to it morphologically, it becomes tara. That's why you see tara in the Quran. But then when lam kills it, it's this is gone, so you're left with tara. Well, there's a more detailed explanation on this, but I'm not going to that because we are just doing the grammatical sparsing here. Okay, so you have here. Here would be istifham, interrogative particle. It means in Malay say adakah or apakah. In Arabic it becomes have or did or do, depending on the tense, or are or is. It's a question, something like that. Okay, so done. So all of this is done except kaifa. Kaifa is not done yet. So if kaifa is not done yet, usually is the last one, which is a nominal noun. Usually kaifa it has a different, I'm going to give it a different grammatical function that you usually see out there in the books, to simplify this. Okay, and in order to do that, I'm going to sort of give you an example. Okay, so when you say kaifa anta in Arabic, it means what? Kaifa means how, anta means you, right? And it's a question, so how, and usually you add an r. How do you know you add an r here? Because it's a nominal structure. Nominal structure basically means that the first one is a subject of nominal, the second one is the predicate of nominal, and both are nouns. So you have a noun here and you have a noun, an interrogative noun, and then this one is a personal pronoun. So whenever you have kaifa anta, it's usually that nominal structure, right? But I don't know, I checked the books and then they do not say that the kaifa in this surah is of a nominal structure, but they give other grammatical functions which are not easy to explain for intermediate students. It's easy to explain for advanced students. So I'm going to just give my own grammatical function here. All right. So basically, if kaifa comes at the beginning of a sentence, so which means we'll treat kaifa here as the beginning of the sentence, which is a noun, and this noun is an interrogative noun, and we'll just say that this is subject of nominal. Now if this is a subject of nominal, which means how, okay, what comes after it, if what comes after it is like anta, you have to add a verb after it, which is are or whatever, and then but if you have a verb after that, then the verb itself, the verbal structure itself becomes the predicate. Okay, so let's say fa'ala rabbuka is the verbal structure, right? So the verbal structure is in the position where it becomes the predicate of nominal. Therefore you have a subject of nominal, which is kaifa, and predicate of nominal, which is fa'ala rabbuka. Therefore subject of nominal pushes the predicate of nominal, and Yep, you have that. And as usual, whenever we have done the sentence sparsing for the words in a sentence, we do the connections. Okay, the connections. Now, as you can see here, let me just do a line here. As you can see here, if you do the arrows, right, you cannot leave out something here. There's the disconnection between the arrows here, and there's a disconnection between the arrows here. So what you do is, if you see what the disconnection, after the disconnection, you see a particular preposition, for example, you bring it back to the verb that is related to it. Okay, so this goes back to fa'ala, the verb before it. So what your Lord dealt with, so dealt with, so that is the linking verb to the preposition. Now what about this gap here? How do you do this? Now how you do this is, basically look at the verb here. So this verb, so in verb means see, so it must have an object, right? You see something. Okay, and since we do not have the object of verb for this guy, okay, so let's find one. Okay, so the translation will be, have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Now, so you just take the structure, all of it, okay, all of the structure, which is this: how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant. It becomes the object of verb. Therefore, this verb it does not just have a subject, but also an object of verb, which is the whole structure after it. So with that, you have filled up the gaps. Okay, and that's it for verse number 1, and then we'll go to verse number 2. All right, now we are at verse number 2. Okay, alam yaj'al kaidahum fi tadlil. Did he not make their plan go astray? Okay, that's basically the meaning. Now, as usual, it's an interrogative noun. It's like the same one we saw in ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-din, alam tara kayfa. So that there. So lam is also, lam is a particle with I think it's not particle here. It's particle for both, sorry. So it's particle for both. This is particle of interrogation, particle of negation. So this is particle of negation, particle of interrogation. And then you have a verb here. You have a verb, and then the pronoun, the implied pronoun, because you have the ya here, right? And then you have the implied pronoun, which is the subject of verb. And then you have kaidahum. Kaida would be a noun, and then hum would be a pronoun. Fi, particle of preposition. Okay, and then tadlil would be a noun. Okay, now what do we do first? We find the verbs. All right, so you have a verb here, yaj'al, he makes. Okay, so you have a verb here, verb, so this is done, verb, and then you have a subject of verb, which is huwa, he. Now if the subject of verb, there is a subject which is a standard noun, which is not a pronoun, then you would not need to imply that there is a huwa. Okay, now so that's the only verb. Okay, wow, is there a subject of verb? Now let's see whether there's a subject of verb here. Okay, he make their plan, right? So this is a object of verb. Therefore the verb pushes the subject of verb and lifts the object of verb. All right, so done. Next, possessive. Possessive is what? Noun plus pronoun is possessive, right? Therefore this pronoun is a possessive, their plan. Therefore the first noun drags the second noun, so that is a drag thing. And then now what next? Done. Adjective structure, no adjective here. Preposition, so you have a preposition here, good. And then what comes after it is the object of preposition. Preposition drags it. Okay, done. And then there's a lam here. Okay, this one we should have done when we do the verbal structure. So this lam kills the verb, so it kills, and therefore you have a sukun here, right? And then this interrogative, basically it just watches the next particle, it does not do anything. Then as usual, see the gap here? You see the gap there. So you find a linking verb for the preposition, right? So this is the preposition, and you link it to the verb before it, which is yaj'al. Okay, done. So therefore the gaps are filled. So the meaning would be, did he not make their plan go astray? Let's go to the third verse. Alright, this is the third verse. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ. So why is the particle of conjunction? So it's right here, particle. So it's a particle of conjunction. Okay, particle of conjunction, and you have a verb here. Verb arsala. Then huwa would be the pronoun, the implied huwa in arsala. Ala would be the particle of preposition. Okay, him would be a pronoun, personal pronoun. Tayran would be a noun because of the tanween. Ababil would be a noun because of the pattern. Alright, so let's do this verb. Okay, so first you have the verb here, and the verb would have a subject. Every time you see a verb, find the subject. Okay, in this case the subject is huwa, he. So we are done with this, so this pushes the subject. And okay, now let's see whether that's an object here. Okay, he sent what? He sent birds, tayran. Okay, so you have an object here, so you have an object of verb here, so that noun is done. Okay, now possessive. Is there any possessive here? There's no possessive here. Next one, adjective. Is there any adjective? Yes, there is, it seems. The adjective is ababil actually, so this is an adjective. Okay, how is this an adjective? Now when there is an adjective follows. Okay, so the arrow goes back. Okay, so the adjective follows what it is describing. So you have a fatha here, therefore you also have a fatha here. Why is it not ababilan? Or that would be the morphological explanation. But in brief, when you have the pattern ababil, like ababil would be afa'il, I think so, afa'il. So whenever you have that pattern, you can't have a tanween. It's tanween phobic. Alright, so that is the adjective. Okay, ababil is a plural, by the way, so it's a plural noun. The singular is ibil, I think. So which means tayran can also be, is also plural, and tayran can also, if I'm not mistaken, tayran can also be singular. Now next will be the preposition, right? So you have ala here, and then him would be the object of preposition, which means ala drag him, and then the, okay, what is the gap here? Is there a gap here? Yes, there's a gap just before ala here. Ala, there's a gap here, therefore the ala, the preposition, is connected to the verb before it. Okay, there you go, you have وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيلَ, and he sent against them flocks or birds in flocks. Okay, which means many birds lah. We'll go to the next one. Okay. Oh yes, last one, conjunction. So if this is conjunction, then this verb would be following the verb before it, which is whatever the verb is in the previous verse or previous verse. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is verse number 4. Tarmihim bihijaratin min sijil. Alright, so tarmi is a verb here. Okay, I've taken this from corpus, that's why you see all these categories of words. Okay, we'll use our method. So tarmi is verb, and then him, you have a pronoun there, and then the verb for tarmi is here, as in this is referring to the birds, they. Okay, here means they, referring back to the birds. Okay, so they strike them. So they here in tarmi refers to the birds, and them here refers to the ashab al-fil, the companions of the elephant. Okay, so next one is particle of preposition here, and then you have a noun. Now ignore this is a bit advanced. Okay, then you have a particle of preposition, and therefore a noun comes after it. Now let's do the first one, which is a verb, right? So whenever you have a verb, you have the subject of verb. So where's the subject of verb? The subject of verb here is not him, because him is the object of verb. Okay, subject of verb is they. Okay, this is the subject of verb, therefore it's pushed. But you also have the object of verb, so this pronoun is the object of verb. So they strike them. Okay, and this is lifted. So verb is done. And then next, is there any possessive? No possessive, no adjectives. Let's go to preposition. This one is straightforward. Whatever comes after preposition is object of preposition. Next one, same thing, object of preposition here. Okay, now you link, right? There's a gap here, so there's a be here, preposition, you link to the verb before it. Now there's a preposition mean here. Do you link to the verb before? No, you don't, because means sijil is basically describing the hijara, therefore it goes back to hijara. See, so you don't have to link to a verb, you link to a rooted noun before it also can. So everything is linked. Okay, now tarmihim bihijaratin min sijil means they, the birds, strike ashab al-fil, them, with stones baked of clay. So that is verse number 4. Let's go to verse number 5. Alright, verse number 5. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. So fa is a particle of resumption or particle of conjunction, because it connects with the previous verb. Ja'ala would be verb. The implied subject of ja'ala would be huwa, which is a pronoun, and hum would be a pronoun also. So you have verb, pronoun. Ka is a particle of preposition. Asfin would be a noun. Everything a noun comes after a preposition, it becomes an object of preposition. Ma'kulin is a noun. Okay, now let's do the verb, right? So you have ja'ala means made, so he made, right? So go to the subject of verb here, and then it's pushed, and then you have the object of verb here, which is lifted, and therefore you have he made them. Okay, next would be possessive. Any possessive? No possessive. Adjective would be noun plus noun, right? So you have a noun plus noun here, so the second noun follows the first noun. How do you know? You see the back. Okay, asfin, ma'kulin, and both are not definite, so it's a what? An adjective. Okay, so it's an adjective here, so we write adjective, and adjective follows what? is before it. So ma'kul means that which is eaten, Okay, next is what? Next is preposition. So preposition drags, what comes after it? So ka'asfin. Okay, and then we're done. Okay, ignore this star. Okay, now what happens next? The next thing is that we see that's a gap here, right? So you connect the preposition with the verb before it, made them, so made them like. So you can do that. Okay, you can do that connection, but sometimes the connection is not really direct. Okay, now a simpler way to do this, is this. I'm going to give an example and I'm going to apply to this verse. Okay, so I'm in English, right? So I made him run. Okay, I made him run. So I is the subject of the verb, right, which is made. Okay, so him would be the object of verb. Object of verb. Now run is a verb. But then whenever you have made, you have something like two objects of verb, right? One object of verb will be direct, which is him. Okay, it's like I made him run. So this made is verb, and then subject is I, and then object of verb is him. You made him, so this is object of verb number one. Now even though run is a verb, you can also make you can also consider this verb run as the second object of verb for made. Okay, so I made him run. So there are two objects of it. If you can see this logic, then we can apply this to the Arabic also. It's like I made him angry. So the him is object one and angry is object two. Okay, so just play with that. Okay, and then we look at this Arabic فَجَعَلَهُمْ. So he made them like straws eaten up. You see that? So he made them. So them would be the object of verb number one, and then like straws eaten up is object of verb number two. Okay, so that's how you can also look at sparsing this verse. Okay, whenever you have ja'ala, which means make, you can have two objects, and you can sort of rationalize even this prepositional structure as an object of verb. Okay, so there we have it, all the 5 verses of Surah Al-Fil. So finally we will just give a simple translation to this surah based on how we grammatically sparsed it just now. So let's conclude with the translation from Prof. Abdul Halim. So, Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Do you, the Prophet, not see how your Lord dealt with the army of the elephant? Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Did he not utterly confound their plans? Wa arsala alayhim tayran ababil. He sent ranks of birds against them. Tarmihim bihijaratin min sijil. Pelting them with pellets of hard-baked clay. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. He made them like cropped stubble. Okay, so that's quite a smooth translation as usual by Prof. Abdul Halim. Okay, now we are done with the grammar, sentence sparsing, and simple translation from Prof. Abdul Halim. And then in another session I will try to give this a root word treatment, where we will see how this applies to our daily lives and how to connect between these verses and whether it has connection with other surahs before and after. Thank you for watching.